Getting started in any online multiplayer game can sometimes feel overwhelming and hopefully mixed with a lot of excitement. Now in this new player's guide, I hope to encourage you to try out this game as well as help you step into this incredible world of Phantasy Star Online 2. There is a lot that I love about this game, and there's a lot that it does, and the game also does and does not tell you a lot of information. In this video, we're going to really cover everything that you should know when getting started with this game, and there is a lot to do, and there's a lot of complexity that I think you're going to really find awesome. But don't feel too overwhelmed. Just take it one step at a time, and be sure to ask any questions that you have either in the comments below or on our Discord server accordingly. We're here to help. Now, I've spent a lot of time with this game and leveling up all the different starting jobs, so I hopefully will help be able to direct you in your character creation and class selection process. But before we dive into that game, I just want to encourage you to hopefully subscribe to this channel, ring that bell, and follow us over on Twitter at Work2Game, as we're going to be doing some Amazon gift card giveaways here on this channel as well as our Work2Game channel, and we're going to announce them ahead of time before they go live, so be sure to follow us over there if you want a heads up as how you can hopefully get your hands on some free loot for the real world. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into everything you need to know when getting started in PSO2. There is just so much that I want to cover right at the start of this video, but I think it's probably best to start with character creation and class selection. I'll dive more into an overview of the different classes later in this video. There's just so much that we need to kind of start you with, and I want to start you with this and give you this information right away. So the first thing you're going to be brought into is your race and gender selection. It's important to note that you have 4 different races: human, Newman, caste, and Dooman, and there are differences between these races. So for example, humans have good HP. They either have good special attack and special defense, or good technical attack and technical defense, and you'll see these stats abbreviated as S attack and S def, or T attack and T def accordingly. This all depends on your gender. So males are better with S attack and S def, females are better with T attack and T def. Now Newmans have really good T attack. That's your technique attack, that's your special abilities, mind you. Now they either have good range defense or T defense depending on your gender, so just pay attention to your gender here because it also has an impact. These are going to be really good for Force and Techer. These are really good caster, a really good race to start if you want to play a caster. Now keep in mind, you actually do get 2 character slots when playing this game, and you can purchase more, so you can play around with it. If you're not really set on one specific class when you're kind of starting and you're not really sure, don't worry about it. You can always create a new character if you feel like min-maxing later in the game. But you can also play all the classes on all the races, so they're not going to restrict you by any means. So you do have a lot of freedom there. Castes have good HP, special attack, ranged attack, and dexterity. This is going to be either good special defense or good ranged defense depending on your gender, male or female accordingly. But they're going to have low technique attack and technique defense accordingly. They're not really good for casters, really good for your rangers, your gunners, those style jobs, but just keep that in mind. Now Doomans have really good special attack, range attack, technique attack, but they actually have low HP. These are going to be geared to your braver and bouncer classes, but do know that these are damage dealers through and through. If you're really trying to maximize your total damage output, Dooman's going to be it for you. But keep in mind, your HP is going to be something that you're going to need to keep a close eye out on. This is, if you especially pair these with your glass cannon style jobs like Force as well as Fighter, you can put out a lot of damage, but you can also find yourself, having to wait to be revived. So it's a risk reward. I'm gonna let you pick which one you want to go from there. When starting the game, you're gonna have the option for hunters, bravers, rangers, bouncers, summoners, and force. These are going to be the 6 selecting starting classes that you'll have access to when starting this game. Now, summoner is going to be in question, especially as it rolls out here in the West, because it is a part of a special episode that was a later update to the game. So we'll have to see if that's actually included on day 1, but note that for the future that you might have that option as they update the game over time. So you get these 6 classes, but once you get into the game, you can go to the counter and I'll show you where to change your class and eventually your subclass. So once you've decided to create your character, you're going to go on a nice little story mission and then you're going to be into the base game. You can see here my higher level force character, which I've been enjoying. Now, as you get familiar with your surroundings and everything that's going on in this area, this right here, the first floor is called kind of the gate area. We'll show you more here in a second. You can come up to talk to B, and this is where you're going to be able to change your class to any of the other classes. You'll see Hero, Phantom, and Étoile or Star. These are going to be jobs or classes that unlock when certain conditions are met. So you'll be able to play these later. Now, as the game updates for the West, we'll have to wait and see how these get rolled out. But it's easy to be able to select a class, say OK, and now that is your main class. And then as you go and do client orders, which we'll talk about here in a second, you'll unlock the subclass and you can pick a subclass. As far as build guides, what to class, what to main subclass, how to really tech out your skills, we'll be covering those in more in-depth guides here on the channel, so be sure to subscribe so you can come back for more of those in the future. But let me just pick with my force, and I'm going to stick with my techer as my subclass. And you can see over here on the right hand side, you see my level for the different classes. Then you see my maximum level. Currently, as a part of the Japanese version, the maximum level is 90, and there are certain requirements to be able to do that. And I'm going to talk to you about that here in a second. You also have select skill tree. You can have multiple skill trees. So this is really interesting to see. As you level up, you get skill points you can use to unlock these skills in which that you can use on your main. Same thing applies for your subclass skill tree. Let's go ahead and look at learn class skills, and here you can see the various skill trees. Here's where I want to give you some advice. This game is a free to play game or a free to start game. You're going to be doing this as a pay for convenience. There is a premium service plan, but keep that in mind that when it comes to skill trees, here's the first tip that you need to be aware of. It's easier and it's probably better to buy additional skill trees as opposed to paying to fully reset your skill tree. And this is why. Occasionally the game will do an update where they'll make a change and you'll get a free skill tree reset. So that would actually apply to any additional skill trees that you have purchased. So you ultimately are maxing out your time and your convenience. So despite the fact that the game is free to play, you can dive in and you can really kind of master your skill trees here. Obviously, I'm just using one over here for the Japanese servers, but as this game rolls out to the West, I actually do plan on spending some money on this game because I've wanted it for so long, and I think it is really important. Okay, so let's go ahead and break down our stats as just some good information here for you. HP, if you've ever played an RPG, this is going to be your life. Your PP is like your mana. This is going to be allowing you how you do your special attacks as well. Here is your S attack. This is going to be your main striking or melee attack. Your ranged attack. This is going to be for bows and arrows and guns and more. Your technical attack. This is for your magic casting. Now your dexterity. This is going to increase the minimum damage your character actually deals per attack, and it actually decreases the minimum damage that you take from all attacks. This is a really cool stat to have, so keep that in mind, especially if you're finding yourself dying a lot. You can end up having increasing your overall survivability by increasing your dexterity, as well as raising your overall base damage. Special defense, our defense, and technical defense. So these go hand in hand with your attack and your defense based off the type. Are you getting killed by ranged a lot? Are you getting killed by magic a lot? Go forward and conquer from there. You also have various attribute resists and a lot more information that if we need to, we can do a deeper dive as a part of our stats as it goes from there. So I want to take a brief moment and talk about your gear. If you go to the left elevator, you can go into the shop area, and here is where you're going to find some different shops. You've got your weapon, your upgrade, your tinkering, your gearing shop, your grinding shop, your armor, and your item shop here. I want to talk about your kind of grinding and your weapons and your gear. So let's talk about our weapons and our armor really quick, and then I'm going to talk about how to upgrade these via the system that we're standing up here in the shop area. You can see my strike broom. It says NT. That stands for new type. Back when the game launched, they had old type weapons, and eventually they updated those, and those weapons became NT. So you'll see strike broom NT plus 30. That's because I have grinded this weapon up and up and up, and that's made it even more powerful. You can see here I got a ray rod plus 30. This is another weapon, but when we talked about our stats earlier, certain stats are required for equipping weapons. They're not going to be locked behind a level. They're going to be locked behind your stats, and this can be affected by your mag, and which we'll talk about more about your mag here in a little bit, and other factors. So keep in mind that's how that's going to play out. You can also see weapons have certain elemental types. This is light, light, which is going to affect like healing and different light attacks. You can see that the strike broom is based off of fire, so this is going to affect fire attacks. Other weapons have different elemental types. So when you're playing especially a force, you're going to want to be paying attention to your elemental types of your weapons and how you build out your palettes. So you can see here that again, I've increased this, I have leveled it up, and you can see its rarity, its stars, and its various stats. Right here, you can see also additional abilities that you can attach into weapons, or certain weapons come with these really awesome stats and go from there. So under your armor symbol, which would be the second tab right here, you can see also various armor that I have, and you can also grind up armor. Armor grinding is perhaps the easiest to manage. From a skills perspective, you'll find discs. As you both play the game and as you come up here into the shop area, discs are what going to teach you your magical spells, they're going to teach you your skills and more. So you just kind of have to select the disc. Now discs have levels. You're going to find higher level versions of those abilities just through drops in the game. So you just have it, you can use it, and now you have that leveled spell up. If you have it at a lower level, it's going to say, hey, you've already got a higher level learned, so don't worry about it. You can use these discs to feed your mag. In fact, you can feed your mag all of these items. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Until you know really what you want to main on your character, don't feed your mag, because to de-level your mag is going to be very, very difficult. So since I keep teasing it, let's go ahead and talk about your mag. You can actually have up to 20 different mags. However, those are going to cost money. So if you want to play this game completely free, make sure that you understand how to level up your mag. I'm going to show you how not to level up your mag just by coming in here and randomly giving it stuff. You can see the energy level has gone up to 33%. And if I use this item, my striking defense is going to increase as well. So I am not essentially doing this very effectively, but I'm just going to go ahead and feed it this one as well to continue to increase its overall level. My mag's level right now is at 118, and I just boosted its striking defense much higher than it was. And based off the item rarity, that's going to feed those different things. Your mag impacts your stats directly, just like we talked about with when equipping weapons. Your mag also is going to learn auto actions and trigger actions. These are going to be things that help you out. So they are kind of this pet. They are this buddy of yours that you're going to love, and they're going to evolve and allow you to do different things. You can see here I have the Helix Protocol. This is going to be their special ability in which they can upgrade and you can use them. They have so much power to them and they're so cool. I love this system. In fact, I've often wondered why other games haven't done it justice and done the same thing. So that is your mag. You want to make sure you get it. You're going to do those via client orders. And again, here in a minute, we'll talk more about client orders, but just make sure you have it equipped. And then once you decide on that, we're going to have obviously mag building guides on what things you want to feed it so that you can really grow it the best way that you can. Again, you can kind of do what I did here, which was just kind of fun and just feeding it loot because my inventory was full. Or if you really want to focus in on your min-max, make sure you check out a guide, make sure that you feed it the right things, or be prepared to purchase multiple mags. If you're playing multiple classes, you're going to want to have different mags because that's just going to be how the game is going to get you to pay. Okay, so now let's go ahead and level up our weapons and our armor. You can do this here from Monica at the purple store in the shop area. You can essentially say add abilities in which that you can say, hey, I want to attach this and attach this to be able to receive a list of these eligible abilities. We're not going to do that this second because we're going to focus in on grinding. Grinding requires grinders. You're going to see these things dropping from your dailies and your weeklies as your quests. So you're going to be like, what are these grinders for? How do I use them? So you're going to come in here. You can see everything, just your weapons, your armor, and any additional skill rings or accessories that you have. Let's focus in on a particular weapon. We'll do this gun/NT just for fun. And then I can feed it a list of items and up to 5 at a time. And then I can say confirm. And it's not going to let me do anything that's locked. I can use any kind of upgrade support, attribute support, or elemental up if I have those options. And you can see the stats over here on the right hand side. Required grinders 5, and I currently have 117, so that's fine. My Metza need is 18,000, and I have plenty of Metza as well. So my varied success rate, my grind value, my upgrade limit, different stat values that's going to change on it, and I can go ahead and say yes. That's going to grind, and it's going to have a chance. In this case, it was successful. So it went from just a 0 to a plus 10. Now you can see that gun/NT plus 10, and it's a more powerful weapon. This is going to be required for some later unlocks. So you'll see that obviously I have the Ray Rod 30 and the NT 30, and this is all going to be because I grinded that up using various items. It will tell you what you need, and it can fail, and you can see that happen as well, and it can be a little frustrating, but it is what it is. Same thing kind of applies for armor. You can see this required grinder needs 1, and I can just keep grinding it up and go from there. Eventually it might even ask me to use and feed it different weapons and more, but that's just going to be how it's played out. So just kind of play around with the different weapons and armor and continue to power them up. That's a part of the game itself, and as you get rare drops and more, you can have a lot of fun. Speaking of rare drops, you can come and talk with Shakira here and identify item, and if you have any of those roles that say special, then you can come talk to her and she can identify the weapon for you, which you're going to want to do because that's going to be how you figure out what it is. Equipping your weapon and more can be done via customize. You can say automatically equip. You can pick different slots and go from there, and you can see the different skills that are done. You can RB and LB or R1 to kind of cycle through both pets, spells, abilities, weapon skills, and more. This is how you can set these things, and you can see what is eligible and what is not eligible, like try impact, saying, hey, all right, I can use that. Let me go ahead and set this right there, and now I have that skill set. So as I switch between my weapons and my bars, that's going to be how that plays out. To show you that in real time, you just hold it up, and then you can cycle through your different builds. So if you want to pick number 4, you press A, it changes your weapon, changes the skills that you have accessible. The other thing is you also have your bar down here that you can cycle through by pressing left and right on the D-pad, and then using an ability like this by pressing down on the left stick. This would be like the click. This would be me casting a heal spell. So you have a lot of abilities here as well, and not just as a part of your weapon skills. So you can see that. I've got it configured to when I hold right trigger, then I switch over, and now I can use and see those abilities. But in town, they're not going to let me be too dangerous about it. The other thing we've got going on is you can see like Zeg here, you can see different NPCs that have blue markers over the heads. These are essentially like quests. They're called client orders. You can see what they've got and what you're going to get from doing them. Some can only be completed once. Some can be completed each and every week. Some can only be completed daily. To get a good feel for really what you should be doing in terms of content, you have your ARCS missions and client orders in which that you can see what's accepted, your everyone's client orders, what you need to be doing. But there's also something more at play. You can see this blue icon next to Big Verta here. This is going to overall increase your daily boost. You can have that daily boost. It's going to increase your overall experience and more that is earned. And to do so, you can go talk to like your daily order admin Fauna here, or actually one of the real important NPCs that you need to talk to is Kofi. Kofi is going to have the quest, the client orders for you to unlock your mag license, to unlock your weapon palette, your sub palette, your difficulty unlocks, your subclass license, your level cap increases, and more. In fact, I would say prioritize Kofi's client orders with a bandit. Like do these first and foremost. The ones that are new are going to be marked with the red exclamation mark, so I can accept those, and now they are accepted as well. Going to again Rebecca or the attendant, you're going to see a couple things you want to play around with. This is going to change as things go on. Your story quest as episode 1 and more get played out, this is going to be how you advance your story. Again, you can see your currently daily boost, and you can get this up to 10 times, but that means you're going to want to do your dailies. What are your dailies? Well, let's go into main quest, and you want to go to your featured quest section. Here you can see your ruins exploration, your mech power survey tunnels, and this is going to change daily. If I pick on this, I can set my difficulty. I can say quick start. You can have some options here. I wouldn't really worry about this. You can always just kind of set it to open. and let it match you and allow other people to join. And then it's going to show you awesome selected client orders. Anything that's got a nice little blue up is really where you're going to want to focus. Anything that you've already got accepted or completed, you have the crown there. So you would just kind of pick out some client orders at this time. Currently, I'm at 20 of 20. And that means I can't accept any more client orders, and they'll allow you to purchase the ability to stack up on more client orders as well. So if I go ahead and do that, now I can accept, now I'm on the mission, and then I can just run into the camp ship, in which that it's going to go and allow me to do a couple of things. This is really cool. So let's say your friends aren't online. Let's say you're just kind of playing solo. You can go over to this counter right here, and you can pick on your partner NPCs that you have unlocked. You can also call in your friend NPCs as well. This is going to earn you fun credit. It's a weird currency, but it allows you to do a couple of different things. Basically allows you to open up advanced features of the game that are usually premium features and kind of play from there. If I just kind of say invite to party, now he's joined. I can also pick on others as well. And now I actually have a 4-man squad of NPCs. If you play like any of like Final Fantasy XI or 14, you'll know that we call that the trust system. Here we don't call it the trust system. And before you go into the mission itself, go here and pick a drink. Obviously the ones with the red triangle are the premium that you have to be subscribed to have access to. But in this case, if I pick Shift to Drink EX, then I now have a not just a damage boost, but I have more than that. Now I would recommend, as you get items as a part of power leveling, be sure to go in and equip and use these items. Some of these actually stack. If you just use it, you can see what will stack up together, and you can pick and just get some insane XP boosts that's going to feed your character a ton of EXP and allow you to really go forward and have a good time. From here, just jump into the pool, and it's going to take you down to the planet where you can go ahead and run the mission that is required. Now, different missions have different kind of protocols. So this one, you can see I've got collect quest points. This is going to have me kill enough enemies, and that's going to go up and it's allow me to finish the quest. Some say get to the boss, go from there and have a good time and kill the boss, and that's what you need to do. But that's pretty much straightforward, how this game works and how it all comes together. Just as a side note, if you can't seem to talk to Kofi, if they don't have their quest for you, make sure you complete the stuff for Affin. He's going to be walking around here in the center. You do his client orders and more, and that's going to unlock those features. A couple other quick tips. You can go over here and talk with kind of the titles consultant. Be sure to unlock your titles that you get. These are going to also bring you different boosts and rewards, especially for equipping them. So you can see I've got a lot of titles that I've unlocked. You just need to come to them and unlock your various titles, which you can see over your head. In case mine says Gathering Fever. Now back to the features quest section for just a bit. Chaotic Silence, or in this case, the fourth option here. You can see the XP boost, which is a great little symbol. This is a boss rush version of your daily orders. This is a epic time. I would highly recommend making sure you do your default or your daily orders, because that's going to feed so much more of your experience and unlock a lot of things for you. The second thing to prioritize would be your client orders and go from there. So you've got so much. There's epic freaking main story quests, the collab stories that they're going to be doing. There's also like emergency quests that appear like every hour during certain parts of the day, and those are kind of like your end game raids. It's multi-party content that you can run around and have a blast in. It's insane the amount of content they pack into this game. So we've talked about client orders, we've talked about kind of your character creation, your race, some of the information on the classes, how to upgrade your weapons, how to kick off content. You also have these little portals here for like player shops and more options. I'm not going to go into depth over that now. If you need more in-depth guides, let me know about those. You also have your ability to your storage to deposit items, withdrawal items, and more. And you get a lot of different storage, basic storage, character storage, and more. And then you also have extreme and platinum or paid subscription service. From your start menu, you can also go to your items and send things to storage as well, which is really convenient, especially when you're running around in the game. I tell you what, like right now, your base inventory being 50 is going to feel pretty cramped. You can upgrade the size of your inventory, but that's going to be one of those things that you need to pay for convenience for. It doesn't prevent you. It doesn't stop you from enjoying the game. It does make you think like, man, it would be nice if I had this, which I guess is the idea behind all of it. And so what I would recommend is actually talking to the content here. Go to Play Training Quest and do training on each of the jobs: Hunter, Ranger, Force, Fighter, Gunner, Techer, Braver, Bouncer, and Summoner. This is going to give you a really integral experience with what they are at their core. That's going to be, I think, some fun for you in deciding really where you want to take it. You can go talk to them and have fun with the different classes. The guide is going to walk you through kind of the core, like I said, basic aspects. But to kind of start it off, Hunters are your main, if you think they can also kind of tank in a way, but they're going to be wielding swords, partisans, which are your like lances, and your wired lances. They have a lot of functionality. These are a great overall class when playing it. Your Rangers are going to be obviously your guns and your launchers. Your guns for single target, your launchers for AoE damage. Also a ton of fun to play. Force, my personal favorite, are your casters. Also, you know it, a ton of fun to play. This is going to be balancing your magic and your techniques. Obviously, your elementals with your different weapon types. You're gonna, to master Force, you're gonna want to obviously hit cap on a lot of these classes. So just keep that in mind, that there's going to be plenty of grinding for you to do. Fighters are an up close class cannon. Think of kind of a monk style. They can do a lot of aerial damage, and they have, again, a good AoE, ability, as well as a good single target functionality depending on your weapon type. Gunners, I love this class. I absolutely love playing the Gunner. You get the dual guns. It's very stylish. It's very fun to kick back and watch them play and just do their business. But you're gonna also want to make sure that you're playing them to the best of your ability. That's using a concept of your just attacks and your just defenses for all of these. If you want to know what JA is, it's that red circle that appears around your character, which allows you to then use a technique or more to really level it up to the next level. Keep it in mind, go nuts and have fun. Techers are your support classes. These are, you can kind of think healer. They are a great class to sub as a force. They have a lot of abilities. They can still use casting magic, and you can still use your attacks and more. They basically use wands, and that's just one of their weapon types that they'll have access to. Bravers are like your samurai. They've got bows and they've got swords. You're gonna love this class. It's a ton of fun to play. Oh man, the thing is that I'm sitting here making this guide, and obviously I need to make an in-depth guide regarding each of these jobs. But there isn't a job that I have not had a fun time playing. They are different. I like how they play. I like how they feel. I like how each of them have multiple different weapons, and how I can kind of just really dive into it and have a good time. I think for me, I default to casters, but geez Louise, I tell you, everyone is in the running. Bouncers use jet boots, which was really cool to see. Really good at juggling, air juggles, and more. You also get additional jumps because you have the double jump ability as the bouncer, because you're wearing jet boots. And summoners have pets. That's essentially the pet class in which that you have access to. You also saw Hero, Phantom, and Etoile, and those are advanced jobs that you have to unlock, and those are also really cool to see and play. But we'll have to cover those in a more in-depth guide in the future. This has been a long video. There's so much, like I said, I just sit here, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to show you this, and oh yeah, I want to show you that. So just come back for more. We'll try to do maybe a more targeted guide as we continue to play and as this game rolls here out in the West. Let me know if you have any questions, comments below, if I misstated anything, or if you want more explanation around a certain feature in the game. I'm going to leave you with one last tip. It adds a lot of flair to the game. Going into settings, going into your chat settings, and into all your auto words. This is a way that you can have your character automatically say things when the quest starts, when it ends, when an emergency code happens in there, when your victory for that, if you fail, more things like that. This is just going to be stuff that pops over your head, and it just adds a lot of flair and a little bit of fun, in my opinion, to how it plays. And you can have it actually, by using plus, do a random one each time. So you can make up to 3 different options as a part of those things, so that it adds a little bit of flair, context, and a little bit of randomness to your day. I really hope you guys check out this game. I really hope you enjoy playing Phantasy Star Online 2 as much as I have. I'm going to keep playing it, and ultimately we're going to have to finally celebrate this game when it comes out of the West here soon. But anyway, for Ginger Prime, my name is Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.